coming to you live from the Salad and Fries studio. With me, your host, Cintron, and my special guest. Hey, my folks, welcome to another week of Salad and Fries. It is Monday, February 7th. Yes, right? Yes, today is the 7th. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at the calendar like, girl, what's today's calendar date? Today is February 7th. We are so happy to make it to February, month number 2 of year 2022. Look at that. Two. It's too many twos for me, but look at that. Everything coming in twos today. But hey, I'm hoping that some good old lottery tickets come in twos or some money comes in twos because mama needs some new shoes. That was a little weird. I know. Either way, how's everyone feeling? How is everyone doing? What's going on? What's not going on? What's cooking? What's not cooking? Well, I am happy to have you guys on. Today is going to be a fantabulous show. I'm so excited to have everyone watching. Remember, here at Salad and Fries, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are watching us on YouTube. At the bottom of the screen, there should be a place for you to like and subscribe. Don't forget, whenever you subscribe to View Salad and Fries, you'll get reminders of shows as well as upcoming events for Salad and Fries. So don't forget, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. But if you're not watching on YouTube and you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to go to our website at www.salad-in.fries.com, which is scrolling, however you want to say it, at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to go to salad-in-fries.com. Click on the Facebook icon. We want to make sure that you're liking us on Facebook. Then we want you to go over to YouTube to subscribe. And then we want you to go over and follow us on Instagram. Don't forget, don't click on nothing that says, what is it? Twitter, because baby, our Twitter is just a hot, janky mess. So guys, I am so excited because today is going to be a special episode. It is the first episode in Black History Month. We at Salad and Fries believe in empowering our community and showcasing those individuals who highlight the accomplishments of our community. So this month, for Black History Month, I wanted to kick today's show off with the epitome of an example of what our ancestors have fought for, what those who believe in, let's just say, living a wonderful, fabulous life. Today's show is going to celebrate those people. It's going to highlight and showcase this is what was fought for, and this is the result. And we're going to look at what's going to be happening in the future because of the fight then, the fight now, and the fight for tomorrow. So my special guest on today's show, I was about to say flight. Y'all think I'm at work. I think I'm at work. Today's special guest, her name is none other than the beautiful, the fabulous, the just gaudy shade queen, April Crawley. April is a native of Macon, Georgia, currently residing in Warner Robins, Georgia, with her loving husband. He's going to kill me because I'm going to butcher his name, Sheridan Bobo Crawley, and their miracle triplets. April, I hope I said that correctly. Their miracle triplets are Mary. I don't know why I want to say Mary Elizabeth because that is her name. But Mary Elizabeth, BJ, and Larry. April holds not 1, not 2, not 3, but 12 beauty pageant titles. Okay, let's be clear on who is about to come on this show. She has 5 of those titles or pageants were actually Miss America preliminaries, and she is a member of the infamous Gamma Sigma Sigma National Service Sorority. Without further ado, let's bring on the show the beautiful April Crawley.
Yes, listen, that intro was Jimmy Fallon worthy. Thank you.
Not you, Jimmy Fallon.
Yes, you on the way, honey. And when you make it, I need to be on the show.
Listen, we're gonna have you on the show. We're gonna have
Listen.
everybody who
Yes.
has contributed to the success and the upliftment of Salad and Fries to have a
Yes.
reappearance in the future. I'm like, do you remember this show? Because at that point in the
Yes.
future, we're gonna be like,
I'm like, yes, I
child.
was in my dining room. You remember that? Yes, absolutely.
There you go. We're gonna be flying first class.
Baby, yes. Yes, you almost spoke it when you were saying on your flight. Yes, I'm like, look, where are we going? That's
Where
what
we
I'm talking
going?
about. Where we going?
How
Yes.
are you, boo?
I'm doing good. I have had a busy day, but listen, I made some time so I could be here with you, and I'm looking forward to us having this conversation.
You are here with me and the peoples.
Yes, and the peoples.
The peoples.
Hello, people.
So I want everybody who is watching on Facebook and YouTube, please make sure you're commenting if you have any questions. We're gonna go over some fertility items later in the show. If we're asking or if we're interviewing or if I'm asking questions and you have a question in Facebook or YouTube land, please just go ahead and type it. It'll pop up on the screen. We'll go ahead and ask it. Listen, my mom said she is watching. My mom said, hi.
Hey, boo.
Hi.
Yes, that's the people right there.
Hi.
I love her. She don't know me, but I love her because I
Listen. My mom ain't no joke. That's the stage manager. I need everybody to understand. The stage manager for Salad and Fries is Jackie Shiver because
Mama,
listen.
I was telling him I was putting this on my hands. They're not paying us for this. Maybe they will, but I was not going to have ashy hands. And he said he has ashy hands. So see, you're doing right. You're doing right.
I keep my Vaseline because I done said Vaseline gonna give me an endorsement because as much as I show this Vaseline on the screen,
I know
they need to give, and Palmer's Cocoa Butter need to give you an endorsement.
I want my check, please.
I want my check. So let's get into this. You ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
We have so much ground to cover tonight. Here go one of my favorite loves. Vaseline. Yes, Hillary. Vaseline. It keeps
my grandma used to call it grease.
Grease.
Listen. Put grease on your elbows. Put some grease on it.
I put the grease on my lips. I put the grease on my whole body. It keeps this melanin popping. Let's
be clear.
However, as we've gotten older, we use Vaseline and rose water on our face. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're trying to be a little she. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you ready to get into this?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Let's get into this. You all, April said, I don't want the question in advance. Just shoot them at me, y'all. We're going to shoot them at us. So y'all getting some moments tonight. Later in the show, April's fabulous husband is going to come. Did I say his name correctly?
It's Sheridan, but Sheridan was much better because some people say Sheridan. There's no I in his name. But we call him Bobo. So nobody calls him by his government name. So to speak. They always call him Bobo. He's been called Bobo since he was 2 days old. So he's Bobo.
Well, y'all, we are super excited because this is a Salad and Flies. I'm thinking about planes. Listen, it must be a plane coming. Must be a jet stream coming for me. Hallelujah, I receive it. But it is going to be a Salad and Fries exclusive when the husband, Mr. Crawley,
to get him on here. Yeah, he really loves you and really respects you and what you do. He follows you. He's honored, and I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, word, you gonna come on?" So we're doing something big here. That's history in itself.
Okay, well, your husband is great. So let's go ahead and get on into it. So first question out the chute: how did young April prepare you to become the woman you are today?
Young April. Okay, young April was a mess. Still is. Always marched to the beat of her own drum. But I have to give credit where credit's due. My parents put me, if I had to put it on paper, I would say an impossible situation. I went to a predominantly white college prep school in the 80s in Middle Georgia. So you can already imagine what that was like. Actually, my sister integrated the school back in the mid 70s.
Yes, so, Black History fact.
So yes, just a fact. Dr. Tansy Kilcrease. And so my parents made me go there as well. I was one of maybe 4 children of color in the whole school from 1st to 12th grade.
Oh, wow.
So yes, so fly in the buttermilk is something maybe young people don't know, but that's what I was. And when I got into middle school, I actually tried to flunk out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I did. I did nothing. In fact, I wouldn't even change out for PE. I was in silent protest. And my parents told me, you will still go to this school. So you can do
You
whatever
will go.
you want. You will go.
You will go.
And so about the 7th grade period in my life, I started realizing that I was different and that was okay.
Okay.
I never really wanted to be white. I never wanted to be anything else, but I wanted to be accepted.
Okay.
And so how I flipped that was I started kicking it with people who also weren't accepted for different reasons. They were the nerds. They were the band guys. They were people who were white, but they didn't act like, they weren't as affluent. They didn't have as much money as some of the kids. I started to find those similarities. And I think that helped me see all people.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
That makes complete
sense.
sense.
Me trying to be accepted, I had to be accepting of them as well, or other people who were different from me.
Okay.
And I think that really shaped how I moved in from that point forward and how I lived my life. So when I got to college, it was nothing to me. You know, it was only 17% of Black people on the campus, but I fit in because I was like, hey, it's cool. You know, hey, I know who I am. I know who you are. You like me, you don't. So I would say that I didn't see it then, but my parents' vision for me being able to stand out as a Black woman in a sometimes racist world that is male dominated.
Correct.
They just kind of threw me to the wolves, and it doesn't always work for everyone, but it certainly worked for me and my sister. And I can say I'm thankful for that experience, even though when I was going through it, I didn't see it, but I was thankful for that.
It was as the character build, your character building opportunity started at a young age.
Yeah, I was right in it. I mean, I just started out. I was like, hey, you're Black. So work it out.
They was like, listen, no one here looks like you. You're going to go. You're going to make it work. And you're like, what? Say what? What?
Right. Yeah. But like I said, it wasn't really until middle school that we started understanding our differences. When you're kids, if you look at children play together, but it's when we get a little bit older and we start understanding what our parents are saying at the dinner tables that we say, okay, April isn't like us. April's hair does look like this. Oh, she doesn't tan like us. And we start having those weird conversations. Which that's for a whole nother show we could have.
Listen.
But but that was, can I touch your hair? You know, your hair looks different. Being told, I don't know if you're pretty or not because you're a Black girl. Like, these are real life conversations that I had growing up. But I survived, and I'm still friends with those people. We went to school from 1st to 12th grade. They're still lifelong friends. Any of my Stratford grads, hey, love you. We're still friends, and we grew through it. We worked through it. So that's what young April knows now.
And I think some of the questions that we receive is purely out of curiosity.
It is.
You know, like for me, I went from preschool all the way up through high school. It was a 99.99% Black environment. I mean, yes, we had others. We did have Caucasian Americans. We did have Latin Americans. We had other people, but it was predominantly Black. When I went to college, it flipped.
Right.
And it was, oh gosh. Now
and you looking now like, oh, okay. Yeah. And that is a different, and believe it or not, that's different too, because there are a lot of people that were in the neighborhood that I lived in, because you have to think when I would come home, then I wasn't Black enough.
Correct.
Because I went to white school. Right. You know, so that was a whole different type of challenge as well. But again, I still just was myself. I was like, you know, and all my life I had to fight.
Hello?
You know, I had to fight the white people, the Black people. And so I had to learn how to work on my own and say, hey, yeah, I may go to a white school, but guess what? I'm still Black. Yeah, I may be Black in a white school, but guess what? I'm still Black. I'm a woman and I got these hands. And so not to be violent, but yes, I had to stand up for myself both verbally and physically sometimes. And it did make me a stronger person.
Period. That point.
That's it.
So that leads to the next question of describe Queen Crawley in 5 words. 5 words. I know that's a little bit on that docket.
That's a lot. Okay. So I would say one thing that's most important to me is loyalty. I'm loyal. Stubborn. And I'm transparent enough to say that. If I dig my heels in, good luck. Passionate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very passionate about a number of things. And sometimes when I talk, and I'm also country, but we're not gonna put that on the list. But sometimes, when you're passionate in your country, people are like, why are you hollering? Why are you, or dramatic? That's what they'll say I am. That's what they say. I'm not putting that in my list. Don't count that. Okay. So what I said, loyal, stubborn, passionate. Okay. Silly. I am extremely silly. I love to laugh. And lastly, I'm gonna say content.
Okay.
And I know you're probably like, what do you mean? Like, I'm at a point in my life where with I'm just gonna be honest, with 2020 and 2021, I've lost a lot of people. Both family, friends, associates, co-workers, and I struggled with it because it was so hard. But I had to look at myself and say, well, how are you feeling? And I just started having this spirit of gratefulness.
Okay.
And I wasn't in need. There were a lot of people who were financially strapped during the pandemic. I was able to work from home. My kids were able to be, here with me for a while when I first came home. So I'm very content with where I am. I'm in a good place. Good place.
I would add to that list, because people don't know you, I will add, although you said that you were loyal, stubborn, passionate, silly, and content, I'm going to add to that list, you're very, very supportive and creative. Because you are supportive, creative, and talented. Because a lot of people don't know about all of your talents. I mean, your big talents is you're a mom and you're a wife.
Yes.
Those are big talents.
And
those are leading roles.
And I'm very thankful for that. Yes. They're hard to do, but I'm very thankful for them. Yes. Very grateful.
That's the part that people don't understand. So it's like I said 5, but I was like, we gotta add more to that list.
Thank you.
So what's a major lesson that young April, even adult April, has a challenge with? Like, what is like maybe one of your biggest challenges that you deal with right now?
Ooh. We're gonna be transparent. Let's
be transparent.
I have a memory like an elephant. I can remember things from when I was 3 years old. And the good thing about that is when the things are great, I can recall that as if it were yesterday. But when things are bad or people have done things to me, I'm very unforgiving and have been for a long time. That's not a good thing, especially if you're a Christian, because God gives us mercies. If you don't believe, that's on you. But this is what I believe. And so I do have to work on that, and understand and truly meaning it. Because a lot of people, let's just be true. Let's be real. Be real. People will say, oh, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. Baby, listen, you ain't forgiven. When you forgive, you have to just wipe the slate clean. So I'm still working on that. Pray my spirit. I'm not going to I'm still pray my spirit. I know that I need to work on that because I'll say because I have not been the greatest person to some folks. I have hurt people. But when I apologize, I felt like I was sincere and that they should be thankful. Maybe that's the Aries in me. They should be thankful that I'm coming to apologize. So with that same energy, I need to flip that around to myself. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
So that's me. I need to learn how to forgive. So thank you for allowing me to be on your virtual couch and talk about what I need to do to get myself together.
But listen, that is why we are here. We are here to have these open, candid conversations.
Yes, it's the truth. And anybody out there listening, if you're petty like me, you have to learn to forgive. You must do it. It's what God wants. It's what sweet baby Jesus, 7 pounds, 7 ounces in a manger, Jesus wants. Forgive.
So here you go. We all learn it. We are work in progress.
We are work in progress. Yes, you won't hold it against you.
Your challenge is everybody's challenge. Marielle Johnson, one of our favorite salad and fries members, says, huge talents as mom and wife.
Thank you,
Mario's like,
baby.
let me
Thank
let y'all
you.
know. He said, we could be friends, Shay Queen.
And please add me. Add me. I'll look you up. Yes, ma'am. Let's be friends. Let's do this.
Listen, y'all could probably share some stories because Mario has 2 little boys and you have 2 boys and a daughter.
And a daughter, all the same age. They just turned 6. Bless it.
Girl, bless the house.
And just so you know, just a caveat, we did not have that on the cake. We did not have 3 separate 6s. We just said it's birthday. It was just a candle.
Happy birthday.
Because I just couldn't do it. I could not bring myself to do it. I know that that's silly. I digress. But
you know what? The kids would have looked at it and be like, oh, and we would have been like,
nope. I couldn't.
I don't want none of that cake.
I thought about it. I said maybe I could sing it once and then bring another. I couldn't do it. Yes.
We don't want none of that cake. That cake got bad juju. So we're gonna move into these because one of your creative talents, which is one of the ones that was brought to my attention when I first heard of you from one of your sorority sisters, is your pageant background.
Yeah.
Tell the people how Shay Queen Crawley secured 12 titles, 5 of which were preliminaries for Miss America. Let the people know how you did that.
Let them know. Okay, yes. So I true story. I was helping Dr. Kilcrease. My sister was she was a doctor then. She had just started teaching at Ballard Hudson Middle School. And I was helping her with one of her bulletin boards. They were doing those back then. I don't know if they still do. And there was a lady there. She walked up to me who was actually a very, very good friend of mine still to this day. Hey, Rita, hope you're watching. She walked up to me and she said, aren't you Tansy's sisters? I said, yes. She said, I heard you can sing. Have you ever thought about doing pageants? And I looked at her like she just crawled out of a swamp. I said, I'm not a pageant girl. Now, you have to understand back in the 90s, in the 80s, we used to watch Miss America in prime time. Saturday night, 8 o'clock, we were in front of the TV, and those women didn't look like me. Let's just tell the truth.
They did.
Vanessa Williams won. They took the crown. Okay. So
they found a reason to take the crown, but that's a whole other story.
They gave it back. So not shading the Miss America system because I love them. But at that time, there wasn't a lot of representation. So I didn't see myself in that. So I went to my sister and I said, hey, this woman was just asking me, do I want, should I be in pageants? And she said, why not? And I was like,
obvious.
For real? And she was like, yeah, why not? So 17-year-old me shows up, competes, comes in first runner-up. Mind you, I was competing against women who were 24 and 25 years old because at that time, you didn't age out until you were 27. So you could compete for Miss America until you were 27. So I was competing against grown women. And I came in first runner-up, and the next year I became Miss Macon, 1998. And then I went on to be the first Black Miss Bullock County in 1999.
Black History Fact.
Yes, in 2001, I went on to be Miss Central Georgia. 2002, I was Miss Northeast Georgia. And my last year in 2003, I competed as Miss Iliadia, which is down a small town outside of Statesboro. And I was the first Black winner there. So
another Black History Fact.
Yeah, so it was really important once I started because first of all, I was able to pay my way through school with those scholarships, of course, and student loans, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
But then I was able to use that to supplement for the things that I needed. So it was really a job for me. It didn't start out that way, but I was able to make a career out of pageantry. And then there were other, like I was Miss Black and Gold.
From my fraternity.
Yes, love those alphas. And so I was able to just do different scholarship type pageants and meet some really awesome people. And it changed my life. So I'm still a pageant coach. helping girls who are trying to follow their dream, whether it's in Miss America, Miss USA, or local pageants, high school pageants, middle school pageants. So I'm still very involved in that. And maybe, who knows, I might throw my hat in the ring for Miss Plus Size something sometime soon, coming near you.
I mean, that little creative Mary Elizabeth in that house. I'm just saying.
I don't know if she's disciplined enough, and I don't want to break up the friendship and our relationship this early. She's very bossy, and I don't want to have to tackle her at 6. So
snatch up.
Later, yeah, so maybe later in life, when I can really talk and see if it's something she wants, we might get into it. But I started them late, so I don't know. We'll see. Who knows?
We'll see. Here go one of your sorority sisters. He goes, speaking of how we got introduced.
Oh, the queen. Listen, the queen.
The queen.
So yes. Me and Tamaya go way back. She knows April Dorsey.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother person.
She said Mrs. Plus America.
I might try it, honey. I might try it. And you need to come with me because she's wonderful. Yes.
Listen, she's beyond wonderful.
Oh, that's my girl.
One thing you said, which is going to be great because it segues us into the next section. She says, way back.
Like A-Track. Listen, back when Kilo, if you don't know who Kilo is, yes, go look him up.
I am done.
Go look it up. We go back to Kilo days.
We cannot. But you said a statement that with the pageants, it helped with college. It helped finance you to go through college. Mm-hmm. So in college, you had many experiences.
Yes.
One experience in particular that I would like to dig deep into is the meeting of the love of your life.
Oh.
So I want to move into that section.
Yes.
If you want, I will take you off screen while y'all get situated. Okay, and then I'll bring you in.
He's coming out of the green room.
Okay. He's
coming out of the green room. I texted him and told him,
come on out the green room.
Husband. He gonna get me.
I am so excited about this because the pageant system helped you with the pageant system, as well as everything you've learned through going to school, prepared you for going to college. But going to college, now you are like on college campus, and there's the man himself. How are you,
yes!
sir?
Great. How you doing?
Mr. Bobo Crawley. Give it up, y'all.
Yes.
Give it up.
Yes. He's like, nope. Nope. You don't understand how happy I am to have you on tonight.
It's a pleasure.
So how you been doing?
No hesitation.
No hesitation. He sure didn't.
Listen, I was like, I'm going to get the pitmaster on my show tonight.
Yes. And you see we're all dressed in red. What's up? Go Dogs. Woo! Gotta rub it in. Sorry.
Rub it in. Do what you got to do. So y'all ready? We're going to jump into this the next section of becoming the Crawleys, because that's everybody wants to hear about this. He's like, wait a minute.
It's quite a story.
So April,
get into it. Yes.
We're going to start with you. Describe the day you met your husband, or at that time, this young gentleman on campus.
Yes. So
he's like, oh Lord.
Okay, so he didn't go to school with me. Let's be clear. He was actually in the Army.
Oh, okay.
So I met him on November the 8th, 2003. That was actually the day that I crossed Gamma Sigma Sigma National Service Sorority Incorporated. Nice. So anybody who has done a process, Cintron, you too, you as well, you know that it was a long night. So I crossed early that morning. So I very much remember that day, and they had a ball for us coming out. So yes, and it just so happens that Tamaya,
she said she wants her credit. Let it be known.
Yes, she was one of the chartering members of our charter at Georgia Southern. Mm-hmm. So they had a ball for us, and I was there. And okay, you got to remember, now I was a pageant queen, all right? So I had on a beautiful pageant gown, and I was there, and we ooping and doing all this stuff, and I saw this man across the room, baby. He had on a brown suit. Can you still get in that brown suit?
It's the brown suit is too big for him now.
Wait a minute. And these aren't you remember those big rhinestone diamond earrings? Yeah. That was a little hood. That's okay. But I said, who is this man? So I introduced myself, which is not something that I do. Okay. And I went up to him, true story, true interaction. I said, hey, are you a brother? Back up. He was a member of Alpha Phi Omega, which we kind of adopt as our brothers, just like you, the Alphas and AKs. You know how you kind of have that. And so I said, are you a brother? He said, yes. I said, what's your name? He said, Bobo. I said, what you drinking on, Bobo? And he had a little flask. And he said, peach schnapps and Crown. And y'all know Crown is the Crawley drink. So
there you go.
That was when I was introduced to Crown, okay? And he poured some in my cup and he walked off. No, for real. He walked off. Just
bye.
You see this thing talking about hook, line, sinker. I was like, oh, the audacity. Like, I just couldn't understand that exchange. So anyway, fast forward, he was digging me. He didn't want to say it. He was digging me, and he would find reasons to come back to visit the school because he was, fun fact, actually attending an HBCU. He was at Fort Valley. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that funny? So he was down there. He would find reasons to come and visit, and he was trying to get at me. So way before we had Facebook and even before MySpace, we take y'all way back.
Way back.
Yes. There was a little bootleg website, message board. Yes. For fraternity members in Gamma Sigs. And so he reached out to me because he found out I had moved back to Macon after I finally got out of school, because I took forever to get out of school. And he reached out to me, was like, hey, is this April? And I said, yeah. And we hooked up from there. That was it.
Listen, so Mr. Bobo Crawley. Yes. He's like, why he being so formal? What made you decide to date April? Like, what told you, you know what? Let me go and holler at Shorty. Let me go and secure the bag.
After I had already tried to talk to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
It was a little mystery there. I couldn't put my finger on it at the time. I didn't understand what it was, but it was, I don't know, it was something.
It was the connection.
I had to, it was almost like, I don't know, it was a puzzle. I need to put the puzzle together. And but yeah, I pursued her.
He did. I almost got away though. I can tell you why.
Because he was playing hard to get.
Oh no, it wasn't just that. The scandal. Do you want to hear the scandal?
Oh, he was like, I don't know. Give it to us.
Well, they want to know. So the truth of the matter is that in between the time that, the scoop, that was what the message board was called, the scoop. Mm-hmm. Well, I actually had a college sweetheart at the time, and we were on and off. And at the time that I had met him and I tried to introduce myself to him, we were off. But by the time he had come back, I was engaged.
Oh, wow.
A whole full wedding with a T.
Oh, wow.
The dress, the flowers, everything was planned for 2005 for me to get married. And I couldn't do it. I knew that if I walked down that aisle, I was still going to be thinking about him. And this fool said that if I had gone down the aisle, he was going to do the Dwayne Wayne. Y'all remember that episode?
Yes, that just came on 2 weeks ago on TV. On TV One.
He was going to break up the wedding. So here he would have been in this Black Baptist church, walking down with his white self, walking down the aisle talking about object. So that I saved him from having to do that. But that was a whole mess.
I had a girlfriend.
And he had a girlfriend, but she was a non-factor. But
but the soul knows what the soul needs and what the soul likes.
The same thing, at the time I met her, I wasn't dating anybody. And then I ran into somebody I was dating, and then ran back into her again consistently and saw that there was opportunity to actually get to know her. And I was like, I got to take this.
See, Marielle Johnson said he was born with good sense.
Yes. So
Lord, not break up the wedding. Listen.
And it was quite the scandal. You have no idea. It was dirt. Yes, it was serious.
Tamaya knows me from back at that age, and I would have broke that wedding up. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been bad. So
that
I'm glad
same passion that he just said, I would have broken that wedding up, is literally indirectly but directly answering a question that's coming up. So April, Alicia Keys has a song called "That's When I Knew." A lot of people have never heard the song, but that's like one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, I haven't heard it.
I love it. It talks about essentially when you knew the person was the one you're supposed to be with. So it says it describes the feelings of when love is known. You both knew that you were supposed to be with each other. Tell us when you knew he was the one. Because he said, listen, yeah, that was it. When did you know he was or is the one? When it clicked?
I think I was working with my parents. Okay. Do you remember that? I was my parents had a band for 30 years. That's how they put us through school. That was what they did. That was their life. And yes, he is much calmer now, thank God. And I had gone, and you were working overnight, something.
No, we had a base exercise.
Okay, whatever. I don't know about the military stuff. He was doing something that night anyway. And again, this was back way before we had anytime minutes on your cell phone and all.
Okay, call me after 8:00.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So my phone was bootleg or something, so I had to use my mom's phone to try and call him. And so he apparently had been trying to get in contact with me like for hours or whatever while we were at the gig. And I told him where I was, even though we were kind of sneaking around, though. I don't know what he thought was going on, but we talked that night, and I finally got in touch with him. And he was like, I'm so glad you called. I didn't know what was going on. And we talked for like 3 hours that night about nothing. It was like we were in high school. You know, I'm 24 years old on the phone speaking on my mama's cell phone to talk to this man. And we just had so much fun. You know, it was easy. It wasn't anything, sexual. He was a perfect gentleman. It was just something that we knew. And believe it or not, it was the first white guy that I had ever had any interest in.
Okay.
So that was different too. I think it was just the excitement of, what we were doing and the unknown, and so that's what it was for me. I think that was when I said, you know what, I think this is the one. And so I had to go ahead and break the news to my family. And
they said all the money we done spent. Somebody gonna eat this wedding cake.
That ain't the first thing they said.
No, man, we won't speak on that on today. But
I have an idea of what they could have said, because I have heard it before, especially when I'm not trying to put no dirt out. I'm just putting dirt out. So I know a situation in which someone bought their white girlfriend. Like, first is one thing, you're a lesbian, then you bring a white woman home.
Oh, Lord, yeah. Yeah, that can get real complicated.
Like, okay.
Yeah. Right.
Or the other way around.
Yes,
you bring a black person home.
Right. Yes.
Or like what you and I was talking about before we came on, how I was talking to the young lady who's white and she married a guy from Pakistan. You brought the enemy home?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it has its challenges. Absolutely. It does.
So and we're going to get into that shortly about the challenges and things that you all encounter. But Bobo, what has been 2 highlights of your marriage with April? Like, what have been like the 2 biggest things that just make you be like, gosh, I'm glad I'm in it to win it? Like, these 2 things keep you going.
Let's see here.
Dig deep.
Yeah. Man, the drive, one thing that kept us going for a long time was the drive to have a family. Like everything else took second place to that. Like, and we knew it had to be us to make that journey complete, So that drove us for a long time. And then I think the thing that she said is we clicked from the beginning. So even when we're off, we're still kind of on. Like, we might not be talking to each other because we're mad or upset or whatever.
I have a bad habit of silent protest. Yeah.
But, you know, the makeup food orders, they can get made without talking to each other, and you know, different things, stuff shows up. You know, so even when we're off, we're still kind of on.
Mhm.
And we pick right back up where we left off when that little storm leaves. And,
We're friends.
Yeah,
More
that
than
part.
we are best friends. This is my best friend.
You got to be. You got
Yes.
to be to go through everything we went through. You got to be.
Correct.
17 years in March.
Hey!
Woo! Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you know, the friendship is a highlight of your relationship. But everyone that I've ever spoken with who are in long-term relationships, they all say the same thing. They're like, oh, we were friends first. And because at the end of the day, like you said, we get upset with each other. Or we may not be talking. April might be in silent protest. But your friendship is what keeps the bond together. It's like, I don't want to sleep next to you, but this is my friend. I can't, you know,
Right.
I can't. This is my friend.
That's exactly it.
So, April, being a woman of color, how do you feel others have viewed your relationship with your husband?
Other than the little shock and awe in the beginning, I don't think my friends were that surprised for some reason. They weren't really, you know, tripping off of it, but my family was, because we, you know, even though as I mentioned, I went to Stratford, I didn't really see them, I guess because I grew up with those guys too. They weren't really romantic, you know, because we grew up together. So I didn't see them romantically. No, not most of them. Don't say that. But some of them were.
Okay.
So, and also just the dynamic of being in my mom's house. I wasn't gonna bring home a white guy, right?
Okay.
But I lost my train of thought.
We were just talking about
their
how
reaction.
others.
Yes,
There you go.
I digress. So, I guess I lost my train of thought because I really didn't care. I mean, just to be honest, and we still don't. Sometimes we go places and we forget that we are an interracial couple. Like, I'll give you an example. Recently, in November, when we went to Disney, we could not figure out, we were in this small podunk town getting dinner and trying to get dinner. And we were just getting all kinds of like crazy looks and crazy service. They were trying to tell us that it was an hour wait and no one was in the rest. Literally, there was one person sitting in the restaurant. And we were like, what? So finally a manager came out. He was like, no, we could seat you and everything. And we were like, oh, they tripping because we, oh, okay. So they want the smoke. So we were very conscious of it when we first got married. We were kind of on high alert, waiting for anybody to say something so we could, you know, be a part of the mixed couple coalition. But as we had been together, I think we kind of realized that that's their problem. You know, we're not worried about the fact that he's white and I'm black, because believe it or not, our experiences on paper, stereotypically, you would kind of flip it, because he, you know, he was raised around mostly black children. I was raised around mostly white children. You know, we had some very different on paper experiences, almost like we switched lives. So when we came together, we had some different cultural differences. He's got more street cred than I do. Let's just be honest.
You were prepared. I think the universe was preparing you both.
Yes, they were
for each
preparing
other.
us for what we needed to be. I think so.
Because he essentially, what it sounds like is you were immersed in a world to understand him and the things that are common in his world. And he was immersed in your world to understand, oh, baby, don't touch the black girl here. She gonna wear her bonnet that night. Don't do that. Like, you were immersed in each other's world. So this is amazing to hear this, because it's like the universe literally prepared you both for each other.
I believe so.
Absolutely.
I believe so. I mean, that's really what it is. And so we are very fortunate.
Either fate or stubbornness go together.
Well, I already said I'm stubborn. Right. So yeah, there was a little bit of both, I think.
Oh, y'all got together and said we're gonna ride this to the
wheels. We were committed. Like, we didn't show up for Christmas in 2003. Yeah, we didn't go to be with our family for Christmas.
Right.
We were in protest. And I think that's when they realized, oh, they for real. Like, because they thought that they put the pressure on, we were gonna break up. We were like, no, we good. We're good. So
listen, Kathy said, love it. Mixed couple magic.
That's Katie. That's
Katie.
Yes,
Katie.
I know
Kathy.
Hey, Katie.
No H.
She's actually BJ's godmother.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So yes, and she happens to be a white female married to a black male. They've been together coming up 25 years.
Look at that.
So yeah, they're our friends, close friends. Yep.
So, Bobo, how do you protect your family from those who do not believe in interracial relationships? And I wanted to hear this from your perspective because I told April before we came on, I've never gotten the perspective from a Caucasian male who's married to a black female of what do you have to do to protect your family?
You know, when I read the question, I was like, man, do I need to think about it? I don't need to think about it. Like, because honestly, as a husband and as a father, that's my job. You know, I'm a provider and a protector. So got to do those two things. I don't do anything else. And she'll tell you, I'm a protector.
And provider.
Protector,
Make no mistake.
And I think growing up the way I grew up, as she touched on, I learned very early that respect was big in the community that I was growing up in. You had to earn your respect. And that travel, once you learn that and you adapt to it and you move that way, you kind of carry yourself a certain way. And then the way my daddy raised me, and then going into the Army, I carry myself in a very matter-of-fact way. So when I pull up and I walk up, people don't usually point and say, yeah, let's go pick on that one. You know, like, it's not that I think I'm the baddest person in the world or anything like that. It's just I carry myself in a way that lets everybody know I'll go as far as I need to go to protect the people that you see around me. So I have to think about a lot of things. Not only do I have to think about the crazy racists that don't want to see my family together because of color.
Because we're still in Georgia. We're still in the,
yeah, right.
We're in the South.
You gotta think about, we got 3 kids the same age, child trafficking, sex trafficking, just just there's so anything that the average person can think of when they go out for shopping, you don't realize that you think about, but you do it subconsciously. Just add another layer in there. You got to look for people. Usually I can spot the people that
are looking funny,
and I'll just steer us away from it. It's my job for them to never see that.
Okay.
Because we don't carry ourselves and we don't interact with people in a way that, like, if I'm describing somebody to April or my kids, I describe what they were wearing first. I don't describe them by color. I do gender and what they were wearing or things like that. But I try to get them to see people first before they see anything else. And that's what you got to do.
Y'all don't understand. I hope people who are watching this are like, can we have more couples like this? I mean, that's why I was telling April, I needed you all to be on this show in February because it is Black History Month, but I just feel like you all are the epitome or a prime example of what both cultures have fought for, to be able to love each other openly with no issues. And I like the fact that you do what it takes to protect your family. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of females when you say, how do you feel with your husband? Or how do you want to feel with your husband? And the first thing they say is, I want to feel protected. Girl, I know your husband got you.
He want the smoke. Listen,
they don't want the smoke,
they
baby.
don't want it. Listen,
unless it's a smoke pig. Now,
yes.
Right.
Because the folks need to know you're the pit master. Let's be clear.
He is the pit master. Yes, Crawley Q coming soon. So
listen, they ain't ready for the summer. So April, give one big piece of advice for those who may be struggling with the decision of, do I get in an interracial relationship? And you both could give your perspectives of a piece of advice for those who may be struggling, because this is a struggle for some people.
Well, I don't want to just say for people who are trying to be in an interracial relationship. I want to expand that. I want to say for people who want to be in a relationship with others, no matter what it is. I don't care if it looks like, if it's you and another woman, if it's you and the same, same sex, somebody, I don't care. Love who you want, because you only get one life. Mm-hmm. It was the greatest decision for me to choose the man that I wanted to be with versus what everybody else thought I should. I know for a fact if I would have walked
Say
down
it.
the aisle, I would not have been happy because I would have known that I wanted to be with him, with my husband. So I had to choose my happiness.
Mhm.
So I say to anyone who's watching, regardless of their color, regardless of what mama say and daddy says. Now, if they're beating on you and things like that, and I'm not going to go for that. But as long as you are happy, they fulfill you, you all can have a future. Choose yourself, choose love. I
That
promise
part.
it works. We are living proof. We are surrounded by other couples that look like us or that don't look like us, but that had to do some crazy things like break up marriages and not marriages, but weddings. Excuse me, not marriages, weddings. We weren't married yet, but break up weddings and do what makes you happy.
Correct.
Choose love. That's what I say.
Now, my last question of this segment is for you both. Either one can answer it. What keeps the flame burning? What keeps that fire roasting? I know the friendship keeps it together, but what keeps that flame burning?
We have actually been intentional about that because we got into a rut as parents. Let's just be honest. You know, we're bathing 3 kids. We're feeding 3 kids. We're getting 3 kids ready for school. So we had to break down and actually have date nights every night. Well, we try to. Except when it's football, it gets a little crazy with this one. But we literally play board games.
Basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I ain't studying you. So we play board games together. We play what's that game that you bought recently? The couples game. It's a card game.
Okay.
Where you ask each other intimate questions and we'll just sit there and just
conversations in the dark.
Yeah.
The couples let's talk.
Yeah, and things like that, just to kind of break up the monotony of the everyday. And that's how we kind of circle back and take it out of the friend zone and remember that we're still partners. And what say you?
Because he looked like he was about to say something.
Like people make this thing out to be harder than it's got to be. Like sometimes, like I mean, marriage ain't got to be a certain way. I mean, all the time for everybody. What works for them don't work for you. You know, you got to figure out what works for you, period. Whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Figure it out and do it. And just live your life that way. When we had kids, that threw off because we've been living our life. We had our kids, that threw off our little mojo we had going. You know,
we would pick up on the weekend and be like, hey, let's go to Atlanta for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We walked by each other in the hallway one day and I was like, baby, you need to get your hair done. She's like, you ain't had a haircut in about 2 months. You know, like
get it together.
Like that was the first interaction. And then after that, it was like we talked about it. It was like we got to be a little bit more intentional about living our life. So we still live out, we still are Bobo and April, that same couple. We just got kids now, but we still had to get back to what made us, you know, and go that way.
So that happens, guys, if you've been, because we were married 10 years before we had children. So we were already in a routine. Then you fold in not 1, not 2, but 3 at the same time. Yeah, we had to recalibrate some things, but all is well. We're still growing.
And I like that. And I'm glad because this is a good segue into our next section.
Do you
and
Mr.
Crawley, if you want to stay, great. If you want to tip out, I understand. If you have a last, go ahead.
Yes. Just this is a touching part, so I ain't gonna be all on camera getting emotional and stuff because
I got you.
But if you have a partner and you're going through this, it takes 2 of y'all, and you have to talk and communicate.
It does. Segue. Thank you.
Love y'all.
Thank you, sir. Love you. See you soon, hopefully. So the next section, for those of you all who are watching, we're getting ready to move into fertility and family. And April, just, you know, let it be known. Just say your piece. I wanted to have this discussion because I feel there are so many families, there are so many women who go through miscarriages or the loss of children, and we don't talk about it. Like we just don't have the conversation. And I wanted to highlight this particular family because I want people to know it happens more often than you know. It is common, not to diminish the value of the experience, but it is common. And I want people to understand you're not the only one who has gone through this. What I did like is you did something that I learned at an earlier age was when you're in a relationship or you get married, enjoy marriage.
Mhm.
You all enjoyed marriage for 10 years and then you had kids.
Well,
However,
that was not my choice.
there you go. So that's where we're going to go into you describing the challenges that you may have had with starting a family. Like what,
Right.
tell us your experience with when you all wanted to have a child and what actually took place.
Well, what had happened was when
What
we
had
were
happened was
when we were going down memory lane earlier. Okay, so after the wedding was broken up and all of that, me and Bobo actually got pregnant.
okay.
So we would, yeah, we were living in sin for a little bit. That's okay. We
That's
only
right.
dated 6 months. Truthfully, we only dated 6 months. So before we got married, and we got pregnant. And
Okay.
honestly, that pregnancy, I think, really brought the mothers around because that's just mother's instinct. You know, you've got a child that's pregnant, and for his mom, you know, she had a grandchild on the way. So that kind of brought our family together. But unfortunately, on January 1st of 2005, I had a miscarriage.
Okay.
And it was shocking, you know, for everything that I knew. I was perfectly in good health. You know, I had just gotten done with pageants, so I was physically fit. There was some stress, of course, you know, because I was pregnant and, you know, and all that. But I don't think I know now that that was not what contributed to it. Actually, 60% of pregnancies are aborted without people knowing it naturally. So, as you stated, miscarriages are a lot more prevalent than people talk about. Um, and so, from that point forward, we worked to try and get pregnant from that time because we were like, hey, we want to. So, for 10 years, I did all kinds of things. Some things I won't even repeat to try and get pregnant. Just short of visiting a voodoo priestess. We
Yes.
did everything. I mean, taking your temperature in the morning, getting the little ovulation sticks. We had an ovulation monitor. I mean, we did everything in true story. And I know he didn't want to be here for this, but we had and I know you were supposed to be asking the questions, but just let me.
No. I wanted you to talk. This
Yeah.
is your platform.
So we had come to one of those times, like we said, we headbutt, right? And we were fussing about something that didn't really matter, but he busted out. Okay, brace yourself, because people can do this in marriage, and you need to know that they can say things that are sometimes hurtful, but are impactful. So I want you just to keep that in mind before you start judging. He said, and you're just not doing what you need to do. You know, we want to have kids, and you will not go to the doctor and figure out what's wrong. Pause. First of all, what you're not gonna do, I was taken back. Like it was a punch in the gut, but it was because there was some truth to it. I was afraid at the 7-year mark of trying to have kids on my own. I was pushing off my opportunity to go to a specialist because I didn't want to hear what they had to say. I didn't know what they were going to say, but I had a sneaking suspicion that there was a possibility that they would tell me that I couldn't have kids. So after I got over the hurt, after I threw a few things,
Literally threw a few things.
I think so. I think I was still in my crazy stage. I made an appointment, and so I went to a specialist in Macon, and got the ball rolling. So we had, of course, there were lots of different tests, and come to find out, I had very large fibroids in my uterus, which fibroid tumors are benign. They're just random nuisance growths that come.
Okay.
And lots of African American women have them or have suffered from them or are suffering. There may be someone watching now. Know that fibroids do cause miscarriages and a host of other medical issues. And so that was one of the factors. Okay. So I had to have those removed. Well, guess what? Once I got those removed, it caused scar tissue.
Oh no.
And that scar tissue was keeping me from my eggs meeting the sperm. Okay. So the body is this really, really complicated thing. And so finally, after realizing that, I'm kind of fast forwarding, of doing that for about a year and a half after that fight and after, saying, hey, I'm on board. Let's go figure out what's going on. We were finally told it would be impossible for me to try and have children on my own. So we had to bump it up a notch and try the IVF, in vitro fertilization.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother journey. I had no idea how cumbersome that was going to be.
The process.
But
as your husband said before he stepped off, you both were there. You both have to be in it together.
Yes.
And I think you said a statement of, I was trying to have a baby.
Yes.
And not we were trying to have a baby.
At that time, and I'm glad you brought up that point. So let's fast forward. So after doing multiple tests, I had to get my fibroids removed again. Second time, they came back. Just know these tumors can come back, and they usually do. We had tried 3 times for, IVF. And for those of you who don't know, they do a lot of things. They take all these blood samples to find out things like, do you have HIV? Do you have thyroid problems? Do you have high blood pressure? They get your body, this temple, ready to receive these embryos. So it's a lot. You're giving yourself shots in the morning and at night. So I won't get into the medical portion of it, but it is a lot physically and financially. I was very fortunate to have 80% of my in vitro procedures covered because of the insurance that I have with my company. Unheard of. Most companies do not offer that kind of support. So that's another reason why I think a lot of women in our community don't even think about in vitro, because you have people who are taking out second mortgages and they are maxing out their credit cards to try and do this procedure that is not guaranteed.
Correct.
And you don't get your money back, But anyway, I remember after trying 3 times, and we had a miscarriage. The first time we were successful in getting pregnant, but we had a miscarriage. Tried 2 more times, it failed. We took a break for some months, and I had given up. Honestly, I had given up.
Okay.
And I think that Bobo had given up as well. So I was researching, trying to get foster care or to go into, adopt. And I brought it to him, and he was like, I don't really know if that's what I want to do. And I'm like, but we want to be parents, right? And he's like, yeah, I want my own child, but I'm okay if we can. Okay. So we were heels dug in. We've done it. We fought the good fight. Fine. We're just going to be together. And I think there was still a void there, but we come to a point where we said, you know what? We've done all we can. Okay. One day I was at work and I'll never forget it. It was to date, it was probably one of the most certain things that I've ever gotten or confirmations from God. And it was simple. Out of nowhere, it said, try one more time. And I was like, who in
here? What is going on?
Literally. So I sat there for a second and I was like, try one more time. So I sent him a text and I said, Bobo, what do you think? Because now I'm trying to be nice, like, hey, we said we weren't going to, but what do you think about trying one more time? Mm-hmm. And he said, I will do it, but this is all I can do. This is it. I can't take it anymore. And, okay, hold on. Give me a minute. Give me 2 seconds. It was the first time in that journey that I saw him with me. Mm-hmm. He supported me. He used up all of his leave to come to my appointments. Any invasive tests that were painful. I mean, there was a lot of pain. some of the things that I had to do. He was there. But like you said, it was me. It was my body. I was doing this. And I had neglected in all of that to see that the disappointments were not only mine, they were ours.
Correct.
And so it changed my whole perspective of what we had done and what we were about to attempt to do. And I guess maybe it was God's plan. He wanted us to be in this together because he knew something was coming that we both were going to have to be ready for. And it was that not one, not two, but all three of those embryos took.
Oh, wow.
We had less than a 1% chance of me being pregnant. Less of all three of them actually attaching to my uterus successfully. Less than 1% chance. So we were hoping to just get one. Okay. When we found out we were pregnant, we were so excited. We were like, yay. We went to our first sonogram and it was twins. And we were like, oh my gosh, we knocked it out the park. We got not one, but two. So the next sonogram, because I was high risk, I had to go every 2 weeks. Of course, I said he didn't have any leave. He'd done everything. And he had, exhausted all his leave. So he said, well, why don't you ask if your mom wants to go? I said, okay. I asked her. She had a doctor's appointment. So his mom said, well, I'll go with you. And me and my mother-in-law have a great relationship. So she was excited. He's an only child. So these are going to be her only grandbabies. So she was so excited. And we got in there, and I remember the tech was very nervous. And I was scared. I was like, what is wrong? What is going on? And she said, what did they tell you the last time you were here? I said, they told me I had twins. She said, I see a third heartbeat.
Wow.
Child, I think for like 2 minutes, my mother-in-law said if I hadn't been laying down, I probably would have passed out. I remember just being dead silent for like 2 minutes. And then Bobo called. It was almost like he just got a wave. And he called and I said, I can't talk. I could not talk. I was just so shocked. So she picked up the phone and she said, hello. And he said, are y'all okay? I haven't heard from you. And she said, what do you think about triplets? Now, y'all don't know my husband. He's got a mouth. And I'm not going to repeat what he said. But after the shock came through, he said, I guess that's what God wanted and we'll make it work. So for the first 3 months, he struggled with attaching to the pregnancy. I was full in. At that point, I had the confirmation. This is absolutely what God wanted. He told me to do it. He made it possible. I'm 100%. I'm already getting names together. He never engaged. It wasn't until I got to my second trimester that almost like a weight came off of him. And he has been fully vested in the best father that I ever could have asked for. And it's truly a humbling experience because he trusted me to be not only his wife, but to have his children. I wasn't just doing it for myself. I was doing it for us. I wanted my husband to have his own children. So I put my body through a lot. It was a sacrifice that I made that I would do again. But it was just, when I look at them and I see them, I see our love. That's a part of us. And I hope that they know that when they get older, how hard we worked to bring them in this world.
Oh, April.
This really cruel and crazy world. But we are proof that good things are in the world. And we're going to try our damnedest to make sure that they are protected and that they know that they have a light to shine. And that is what makes that journey so beautiful. Is those 3 little miracles that we were able to have. Girl. I didn't expect to do that. I didn't expect to do that.
Girl.
What is this? What is this? Okay. Sorry.
Nope, it's okay. I knew that this was gonna happen.
I didn't, because I am not a crier. No, I am not a
So,
crier at all.
What
But
got this girl,
I'm
and we
sorry.
might have to do another show because you answered all of the questions that I had as it related to the process, but you said two things, and I'm only going to talk about one because they are deep. When you said that your husband wasn't attached, the first part, what went through my head when you said that was, I have to talk about the first one in order to make the point. He wasn't attached, in my opinion. This is solely my opinion. The man has been disappointed.
Absolutely.
And hurt so much.
And he felt helpless. Because there
Girl.
was nothing he could do.
Nothing he could do.
He's a protector. He's a provider. But that's the one thing he couldn't protect me from or provide.
So when it did happen, I think I would say for me, I would not be excited until I know. This is like me going to a job interview. It was a great interview, but what if I don't get it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we're pregnant with 3 kids, but what if she miscarries? Like, girl, I understand, but I think once everything solidified in the universe between the two of you, that's when, all right, I got to do this, and this.
I'm telling you, my pregnancy was the easiest pregnancy. I carried them for 32 weeks.
Okay.
I worked up to 2 weeks before my water broke. Like, it was just perfect. Now, afterwards was a whole different issue. I almost died twice, but we won't go into that. Yeah, because the fibroids came back while I was pregnant. So that caused hemorrhaging and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I was still here. I was still fighting. So that was another thing. On the day that they were born, the happiest day of his life, he was watching me die.
Oh, wow.
So when I tell you we've been through it, baby.
Y'all have been through it.
We have been through a lot.
Because the little bit that we get to see, it does not, we can't fully feel what you all really have gone through. What I want you to talk about is what made you all finally decide to post to the world those 3 Prego bottles. Because I remember the day you posted that you were pregnant.
Yes.
What made you click and say, I feel comfortable doing this? I feel comfortable saying I'm pregnant with triplets.
That's a great question, because like I said, he was kind of he kept it close to the vest. He only told very few of his close friends. I think Katie, who's watching now, her and her husband knew. But really, and just very close family. And so we had gone to an appointment, and actually there's a graduation ceremony. So just so y'all know, they do like balloons. And once you get into your second trimester, that's when you're released from the specialist to go to your primary doctor, in your local city. And so that day that we graduated, he initiated while we were driving. He said, I know what I'm going to do. And I was like, what? He was like, I'm going to tell everybody, but I'm going to go into Publix and I'm going to buy 3 Prego bottles. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. And we're going to take a picture of it. And everybody's going to ask what it is. And it's because we're going to have 3, we're going to be Prego. Because I think that's what people were saying at that time. I think Prego.
We Prego.
And it was his idea. And so we went into Publix and got 3 Prego bottles. And I told him, I said, just so that we're clear, let's get 3 little pacifiers too, to kind of give a hint. And we did. And that post still pops up in my memory feed every now and again.
I remember that post. When it popped up, April, I literally sat up in my bed because it was at night when I saw it. And I said, oh my God, they're having triplets. Like, I'm in my house screaming like I'm having babies, because I knew something was going on because you were posting, I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And I was like, I don't know what they're going through, I know it has something to do with being able to have kids.
It was.
I was like, well, hopefully, whatever it's going through, it's gonna work out. But
Yeah.
girl, when y'all posted those bottles, I said, thank you, Jesus.
Yes, Lord. I have to give credit to my church, the Welcome Center Church. It's a small church. I've been a member since let's see. We just celebrate 7 years being established.
Oh, wow.
Those women in my church, they walked around me. They grabbed hands. They prayed for me. I had to thank Tricia Bruce, who was on the phone with me when I drove from Warner Robins to Atlanta like 3 times a week for treatments, because a lot of times I was having to be by myself on the road. Menina Johnson was my OES sister, who was also on the phone with me. And she would talk to me. And those are pivotal people during that time. Of course, my mother and all my family, but I'm just talking about other people who were pouring into me and into this process. I feel like because I'm not an overly vulnerable person, the fact that I was letting people know that I needed that support, they really rallied around me. And strong people need love too. So
check on your strong friends.
That's it. And they held me down. My girl, Reese Freeman, she I'm gonna wrap up because I know we could be here all night.
No, you good.
But I have to share this about her. She even offered to carry children for me.
Oh, wow. The surrogacy thing is a serious conversation.
She did. And I know she was sincere. So after she had, because baby, let me just say, she is Superwoman. She pops them out. She gets pregnant, pops them out, and is like, and can do it like no other. She has 5 children and is Superwoman. You hear me?
Superwoman.
But after she had her 3rd child, she sent me a robe. It was a little baby robe. And she said, this will be for one of your children one day. So when I told her that I was pregnant with 3, she sent me 2 more from 2 of her other children. So I had 3 little robes. And I always remember that because she believed and was a part of the journey as well, and was willing to put her own self in the process for us. So we had some, all the godparents, the Clintons, the Nobles, the Acrees, that are the godparents of the children. They all have their own separate godparents,
Okay.
Because we want them to be individuals. Right. So all those people, I could just go on a list of people, but yourself, all the people who are watching it, who on my page, if I forgot your name, I love you, I know, but those are just the people that I know we're really pivotal in this process.
Well, I will say, because I'm going to wrap up in a few, it's what's exciting for me is just to see these 3 individuals,
oh my gosh,
grow into who they are. Like, to see these moments of when they were little to them coming into their own individual selves, more specifically Mary Elizabeth.
Elizabeth,
y'all too. Baby, when I say Mary Elizabeth gives me my life,
D-Face is gonna be called because I'm gonna tackle her. Don't
that girl needs a show.
True story. The other day, I just texted to see if they will come over. They're on the other side of the house because they're gonna tear up things. But true story, she was cleaning up toys the other day, and she told him, she said, I have cleaned up and I'm done. If you take it out, you clean it up yourself. And we were like,
wait a minute.
Hello. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. You want to see them?
Yes.
Are y'all gonna be nice? Come say hello. I'll say, okay, so everyone, this is BJ.
Hey, BJ.
This is Sheridan Jr., but we call him BJ for Bobo Jr. Okay.
Aww.
This is Larry Anthony.
Hey, Larry.
Larry Anthony is named after both of our fathers. Larry is Bobo's late father, and Anthony is my father. So this is Larry Anthony, and come on over, little one.
The queen of the house.
The queen of the house. She's very small but mighty. This is Mary Elizabeth. Say hello.
Hi. They're too cute.
She's named after both of our mothers.
Okay.
My mother's name Mary, and his mother's middle name is Elizabeth. So this is Mary Elizabeth.
My daddy's almost name is Elizabeth too.
Yes, right. That's what I just told him. Yes, your grandmother is your nanny. Yes.
Oh, they're too cute.
Thank you.
Mario says they're too adorable. They
Thank
are
you.
adorable, but
Starting
they're
her hair. Listen, it post help for multi-racial hair. As you see, I crochet it. Y'all go back with your dad. Bye. If you have help with hey, don't make me show out on the show. Bye.
Okay.
You did, baby. You did talk. Bye. She wanted to come. Okay, come back, Mary Elizabeth. Anyway, if you have help for products, please let me know, because biracial hair is a challenge, honey.
Well, they say, I've heard a lot of people say the line by what's her name? Tracy Ellis Ross.
I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna have to try it
They
because
sell it
I've
in
heard,
Target. I've heard good things about it.
child, we have tried Cantu and Mixed Chicks, and listen, I'm like, girl, and if I could sew it up,
Okay. I'm so glad they were able to come on. I definitely have to bring you both back on again.
yes, we love to, because there's so much to unpack in this
girl. We have this little hour, and I know we've gone to hour and 20, so thank you all who are still watching. But it's so much that I don't think people just get to experience with you all. I want to thank you so much for. Oops, excuse me. That's the ginger. I just want to thank you for just being open to talk about your marriage to your husband and the fertility part, because I was like, okay, this fertility part is going to be a little hard, but I know we can get through it because of our personalities.
Yes, it was. I'm glad that I got an opportunity to talk about it, because there are a lot of women in our community, Black women, who are struggling with it in silence. And they go to their cookouts, they go to these family functions, and they're saying, when you go, girl, you getting older, when you gonna have a baby? Correct. And they don't know how hard that can be, because I've had that asked to me for many years. And you grin and you bear it and you smile. But to those sisters out there, to anyone who is trying, only you know when it's time to quit. So that is my advice. You stop when you say it's too much. Mm-hmm. The doctors can say whatever they want. They told me I had less than a 30% chance of getting pregnant, even with in vitro.
And you got 3 babies.
Okay. So it's not done until he says.
That part. Well, let the people know how they can follow, get in touch, send Cash App, all that good stuff. Because, baby, I need y'all to know they got 3 kids. Let's be clear.
Listen, I am on Instagram, but you've got to teach me. I'm old school. I'm just Facebook bound. But you can always find me cutting up on Facebook as Shade Queen. To everybody that watched tonight, please add me there. I'm trying to get on TikTok, because y'all know I got all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of music.
So all my young sorors, I'm gonna need y'all to help grandma. I mean, I'm serious. I'm an old person when it comes to stuff like that. I just don't be having time. But I'm gonna do better and get on all the social media outlets, and I'm gonna make some TikToks for you guys.
And when the Pitmaster gets Crawley Q going.
Oh yes. Now that's when we're gonna be on all, because we need y'all to get. This is how we're gonna put them through college. We just already decided.
Because I need folks to understand your husband is the king.
Oh yeah, and then maybe I'll sing. Maybe I'll sing, and we'll have ribs and jazz. I don't know. We'll work it out.
We need to have another Middle Georgia Idol.
Oh my gosh! Yes. When the COVID shuts down, I was just telling him I really want to get back into doing my stage plays and my competitions, because we met so many talented people. Yes. And gave people opportunities to be seen, Correct. And now with social media, remember, we were doing this back in 2009.
Yes.
It wasn't even popping off like it is now. Like, can you imagine some of those people now, I mean, child would be here all night. Go on, wrap your show up now.
Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I definitely will have you back on another show, but I will see you soon. I'm gonna put you in the wings for a minute, and I'll talk to you shortly, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, April. So, guys, I know tonight was very informative. I know we got a little little teary-eyed at one point. Uh, but I am so grateful and so thankful to know both April and her husband, Bobo Crawley. They are some amazing people. Hopefully, when Crawley Q gets going and COVID settles down, we can all make our way to Middle Georgia and have a little good old shindig with some good barbecue. April is a phenomenal singer, guys. Please add her on Facebook. It's Shade Queen Crawley on Facebook. Guys, she has all kinds of music. She does everything. Just check her out. I promise you, she will touch your soul. I hope tonight's show did touch you in some way or gave you some type of inspiration, some type of hope. I never know who is watching Salad and Fries, but I am grateful for those of you who are watching Salad and Fries, as I do every week. And I say about you are loved, you are wanted. Life can be challenging, but as you can see tonight with the Crawley family, they took their challenges and they used it to fuel their relationship to stay together. They used it to create 3 beautiful, amazing children. So regardless of how you may be feeling right now, there is hope. There are people who are rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. All of the Salad and Fries family is rooting for you. Suicide has been a big thing lately, especially in my community, in my age group. And I just want you to know that it's not the way. It's not the way. You can call me, you can email us, you can talk to anyone. But when the show closes, the National Suicide Prevention Line is going to be provided. Please dial that number if you need someone to speak with. Talk to them. It's anonymous, it's complimentary, and it will give you that second chance that you need. Well, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in each week to Salad and Fries. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you are going over to www.salad-in-fries.com for all things Salad and Fries. Coming up tomorrow, you'll be able to connect with April Crawley, our guest on today's show. Next week, Monday, is going to be No, I'm not even going to say Valentine's Day. Next week, Monday, February 14th, is going to be Single Awareness Day. There will not be a live. Well, it may be a live Salad and Fries. I don't know. As of right now, on the 14th, there may or may not be a Salad and Fries show because that is Single Awareness Day. Us single people got to get out and be amongst the people. Really, I just got to work. However, on February 21st, which is going to be the following week, that's going to be the next episode of Salad and Fries. We have 2 more episodes in the month of February, and then we're going to round out with March, and we may go into April. We're going to do a spring hiatus and come back in the summer because we're going to have some epic shows this summer. But we want to thank you all so much for loving Salad and Fries, and we'll see you on February 21st for the next episode of Salad and Fries. Bye.